Blub blub everyone, welcome back to Distant Worlds 2. The extra filthy Hoomans are still just exploring, because we haven't found anyone yet. It's not that we have come that far, so far. By the way, if you have performance problems, just deactivating seeing the civilian ships really helps. Not yet a problem, but later the sprawl will be ridiculous in all directions, and it's cool, and I love seeing those. That's why I'm keeping them on. But it might come at a price of performance later. We have the money. I'm gonna get that system info because I want them to like me. If we could just ally with them, we don't have to pay them anymore. We don't have to worry about them, so that would be fine. That is actually pretty good information. Problem is the system is sprawling with enemies. So I don't know if we could actually build that stuff. Ooh, armor plating for free. Thank you, my nice spy. You're actually turning out to be rather useful. Oh yes, that for sure. This for sure. Oh baby, give me all the good stuff. More. As I said, always, when there is Caslon involved, take it. There is no reasonable argument to not taking that, in my opinion. Might be wrong, but, you know, it's fine. We have basic medical systems in research right now. I'd go for storage. Because I want the plebs, the civilians, to actually get that going. And we probably want this one next as well for more throughput, but also better port, so we get the medical systems and the recreational systems together, so we get the extra happiness bonus right there. Oh, we already have recreational facilities. Okay, they definitely have changed something. Because usually the AI waited for version 2 to build those. But as you can see, you just need any kind. Unfortunately, this bonus doesn't expand. Any kind of recreation facility gives you the extra +3 there, which is very important because look at that. That doubles our current happiness, which makes for more tax income. 16k so far. And this bonus comes from, and nothing in the game tells you that, but it comes from here. And if you have the medical center, you get an extra +3, which would, you know, another 50% on top of that, of our current happiness. Yes, please. That's money. That's good money. That's why I want that. But also the throughput could be good, so these freighters can unload faster, which would be great. And later stations, bigger stations, of course, can have more of these systems. For example, more construction yards. I think the middle one has 2 and the big one has 4 or something, or 3. Which means three ships can be wrecked at the same time or built at the same time and stuff, of course. I mean, makes sense. And that would be quite good. There's a lot of deflection field generators on this thing. Still wouldn't do anything, but you know. Ah, another general was a drunkard. Of course, they always are. That is the one thing in Distant Worlds that always holds true. Generals are drunken fools. They always get the I'm an imbecile trait. Oh, we just got this from repairing the frigate. That's pretty good. Is it finished? Not quite. Still a damaged system, a sensor, and a general system. And now it's finished. Okay, we have done the repairs. Now we can investigate it as well, which is weird, you know. We have repaired it, which definitely means we got on board and repaired the inside as well. But now we investigate this? Yeah, it seems kinda off, you know, in order. Sure, investigate it. We investigated the Bennett frigate. It appears to be in good working order. We have boarded and taken control. I mean, we repaired it. Of course we have boarded it. We have boarded it long ago. Disassembling advanced technology would help. Yeah, of course. And that's what we want. I like the design, though. It's kind of interesting. It's very Star Trek-y because of this section, of course. But otherwise, you know, it is neat. All these ships that you find, or the independent ships, look quite interesting, and I wish some of those would be adopted for other species ships. Because some of these species have really weird ships, some of the empires. It has an Acceleros engine. Oh yes, baby, I'm gonna rip you apart and take you and reverse engineer. You have ion shields, which we will need later for things. Talassos shields. Oh baby. That's a much better shield than we have. Much, much better. We're not even close to that tech yet. Please retire. Oh, at the Ghost Fleet base. Oh, that's good. Good. Oh, yes, because the other one is already retiring something. So, of course. And also the Ghost Fleet base is in the same freaking system, which is right here. You can see that if there is a refueling point, that must be a base. Because I think this is not a refueling point. Although you can use it as refueling, but it's not an official refueling point for civilians. I think it's just for military. They can use that. Ooh, coordinated control from the escort. That's pretty nice. Why is coordinated control good? Because of maintenance savings. And if all our ships, and that includes civilians, that means we probably get a bit more money now. If all our ships have 12% maintenance savings, that's pretty neat. Coming from 10, so it's 2%, but 2% on 500 ships is a lot. And we can see how many ships we have through the maintenance interface. So we have 3 frigates and 1 escort, and we're paying about 1.1k there. Yeah, there it is. And the other state ships that we have another 5k on there, which is ships and stations apparently. Interesting. Yeah, and here you can see the resort base as well, which it makes no sense that we pay maintenance on Disneyland. It's just weird. It's not Disneyland, but you know what I mean. We have 38 freighters, so... and 16 mining stations. Look at how expensive these mining stations are. Well, basically like a freighter. Like 2 freighters. And the mining ships, those are... yeah, we don't care about the mining ships. But a total of 8k that they have to pay in maintenance every single year. And you can see that here as well. 8k maintenance. There it is. That's the ships. That's all the ships they have. And stations. I think they have stations as well. And that's their annual expenses. And they still, even with 20k colony taxes, which, you know, hurts them. If we get more taxes because of happiness, it actually hurts them. Because they have to pay these taxes, which is really good because it's very connected, everything. It's not just magic money. I mean, it's basically magic money because, you know, it's taxes on imaginary people in a way. But on just a number. But still, you know, it's still connected that if we get more money, that means they have less money. And they still need to have enough revenue income so the logistics don't die. And you really need to care for this. It's not that much of an active care. It's more like having the ability to make good decisions for them. And then they will be very healthy and provide you with all the logistics that you need. But you shouldn't ignore them completely, is what I mean. Nice. Advanced nuclear fission. Baby, that's really good. Those ships, wrecking those ships was very important. Yeah, look at that. That's a good reactor. 62 per second, coming from 54. Okay, that's another 8 per second. That could make a difference. We definitely want these deflectors. And if you see this arrow here, for these 2, for example, that doesn't need to be refit. That is just a tweak. You know? This and these 2 reactors are basically different. You need to rip these out, put these in, and then they are in. So that needs a refit. These 2 techs are the same reactor. We just know how to use this reactor better to get another... really? Another 12? Output? Damn, we're tuning this thing. Wow, okay, that's pretty good. Okay, off to work. Well, have fun at work, Sholael. Thanks for being here. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you have fun. Hope you have fun at work. I mean, it's work, but hopefully it can still be fun for you. Okay, here the basic assault strength is 75, and here it's 120. And the range goes up. That's pretty good. But yeah, if you want to fight pirates, there are 2 ways, basically. You always want a lot of escorts, because you only will have escorts against pirates at the beginning, when they are actually a threat. You want a lot of them, a mass of them. And then you want either go the strategy of ion weapons, so you can disable them and then take them over with boarding. Or only ion weapons is also a thing, because they still do damage. If you just shoot them enough, they will just die at some point. Because ion weapons can disable components, so also shields And you don't even have to go through them all if you can penetrate the shield. Or you want to go hardcore like torpedoes or something. Like really stomp them, stomp torpedoes onto your ships. Just bolt them everywhere. And just arrive en masse and try to focus them down. That's the only way you can beat pirates in this game. In the beginning. Later they will just be... You can beat them with basically a single ship. Can beat their whole fleet. Tech breakthrough from scrapping. Good. I wanted the damage control. Thank you. And also more storage systems. Okay. And we are actually ready. We don't need medical systems. So we can now actually plan a ship. Ship design. We want to have the Tetrarch. And we want to have this hull upgrade manual. And then can we can edit it because there are none ships built. That means this hull is not active because you can only change a hull that doesn't exist yet as a ship because you're basically creating a variant right now. So this ship is not built. The ship is just a theoretical concept because it is not built. But as soon as it is built, it exists, and you can't change the plans of an existing thing because you need to know how to maintain this thing, you know? You need to keep this plan active. But also you cannot change a ship that has a certain plan, that has a certain blueprint, just willy-nilly. You can't just change it without going into port, you know? You need to rebuild this thing in some way, shape or form. Doesn't mean you need to rebuild the whole thing. Doesn't mean you need to just scrap it and build a new one. But if you rip out a cannon or something, that needs some new blueprints. And that means you have to have another variant for that to happen. This is actually an okay... It's better than the Teekens, at least, of an escort. Both weapons shoot front. This one can shoot 270 degrees, so just the back is exposed, which it's a nimble ship, so that should be fine. We have better engines now, that's really good. We have some shields, we have some armor. Basically, I could go full shields because the shields are the problem. The pirates can board you too, and they cannot board. You can't board something that has shields. So armor doesn't matter. Boarding ports go through armor like butter, but having more shields would matter. Yeah, long range cannon, no thank you. So what we want is the ion field projector. And then we do something that could be detrimental, I fear. But we still have to do it. Oh, we don't have space. We have 2 fission reactors. Is that necessary? Not at all. Thank you. Thank you, game. What we want is the assault pod, and we probably want 2, but 1 would be fine, because we need some range, and our range is practically garbage. Although we have better fuel cells. What's our range, actually? And yes, this looks a bit... Oh, that's why. The hyperdrive has not enough energy. This looks a bit much, but it isn't that bad. We don't need damage control, to be honest. We can just go with double fission reactors, and now the hyperdrive is fine. The weapons didn't need that much, but the hyperdrive usually eats most of the energy. Only at times, you know, only when you're not sprinting or cruising or slow moving, it needs that energy. But when it needs it, it needs it. And if you don't have it, it can only go that fast. You know, it can only go, like, if you have 50% of the energy, it can only go 50% speed, which you don't want. Especially not with these, because you want these to... These are escorts. I mean, they need to follow other ships, normally. We're using them as a strike force, and until late game probably again, just because I find that funny. That an escort, a group of 100 escorts just rips whole battle fleets apart, and they can't do shit. I mean, they're killing some, but who cares? They're basically cheap torpedo boats, you know? From First World War or something. We have million unit scan range. That is actually also very interesting, because now we know what that means. Where's my range? You have jump tracking 5%. Running defense. Somewhere here there was my range. I forgot where. There it is. 800. No, that's the weapons. There. Fuel range. 216 million. Okay, we know what 10 million is on the map. That's very short. So 20 times that. It's not much, so our fuel range is not good. I think we stay with 1 assault pod and just keep 2 fission reactors to have full hyperspeed. And that's about it. Go full ion and boarding pod. That's again one strategy. The other strategy is get a really, really high damage weapon and just get a lot of them. Get a lot of them with high damaging weapons and just rip them apart just by sheer numbers. That's the best thing how you can kill a pirate. The question is, does it matter to have armor if it's actually boarding pods I'm afraid of? The shield strength is 144. And we will have 0.5 in shield recharge rate. It needs a lot of energy, but we will have energy when we're not hyper jumping. More than enough. I mean, look at that energy availability. That's ridiculous. We have energy collector, so if we don't move, we're actually probably good on static. Yeah, static use is 22. That's nothing. So basically, we have double the static energy demand covered with 1 energy collector. So we're good there. Because that's how energy collectors work here. If you move, you can't collect energy. Which is kind of weird, but I mean, if you're hyper jumping, you probably couldn't, which makes sense because you're jumping faster than light, so no photons could hit this thing. Maybe photons that coming from the direction where you're jumping, but I don't know how that would work. But yeah, that's why only if you stand still. If you're moving, you can't. They probably are not fast enough to move into the direction that you need. I guess. I don't know why in system that they don't work if you move. But we want basically not to use fuel when we're standing around somewhere. When we're just basically sitting at the base and before we actually react to something. So this is very important actually. Because otherwise you're bleeding fuel every single second. And that is not good. Not good for the ship, because it's not ready when you need it to be ready, and also not good for your reserves, because, again, this is a logistics game in a way. I think this is good. I think we'll keep this as it is. I wish you could reorder these. Just have the command center always on top or something. But yeah, we have some crew systems. Crew's fine. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, crew's more than fine. We have more than enough capacity. We only need 1. We have engines. What we could do... There's one more thing that we could look at. We have 20% extra maneuvering. That's nice. It comes from the hull. The hull is just very light and very small. But... We have 11 degrees per second turn rate. That means to turn 180 degrees, it takes us about 18 seconds. Not quite, 17 and a bit. Well, actually, 16 and a bit, but sure. So a while. We could change that because we have the technology of the directional thruster. And now it only needs... Okay, it's only 4 degrees per second extra. It still gives us some thrust, but we will have now much less thrust. Yeah, we have half the thrust in sprint. I think it was. So that's not great. Oh, the ranges here look good. That's nice. So this takes, for 180 degrees, about 12 seconds. Actually, exactly 12 seconds. I mean, the pirates will be much worse. So, probably fine if we just go fast. Because we want to be a force that gets there fast and then shoots, and you probably won't have a second shot, to be quite honest. So I think that's fine. Tetrarch 2, sure, let's go. Tetrarch 2, bam, there it is. Do I have to tell them that they are... No, it was just an edit. We haven't built anything. Okay, because you can do things with chaining there. Who upgrades to what exactly and stuff, so that's fine. We have done something in that screen that doesn't save the game. You would still need to wait 5 minutes to get another autosave, so always save after this. Always, because you can lose the progress that you just made, and it is very tedious to do all of that again. And maybe you forgot half the things that you did. We didn't have another crash, which is pretty good. I am happy, and because I'm saying that, we'll get a crash right there. Right now, of course, as always. But now we actually want to... That is pretty good. Did we just get that for free? Please tell me you got that for free. Because then I will definitely buy them. No, shut up. Yeah, we got advanced deflectors for free. That is pretty good. I mean, ablative energy shields would be great. Corvidian shields are nice. And the difference is, look at this. The first deflector, 75 penetration ratio. 75%. So, and 25% shield penetration chance. That means every fourth shot just goes through the shield. And does 75% of its damage. We mitigate it. It still passes the shield, passes through it, but it still passes through it, which we don't want. The upgraded version that we have now has only a 20% chance for that to happen. So only 1/5 instead of 1/4. Only every fifth shot will go through, and they will only do half damage now. So the mitigation is even harder, which is good. But the better you become, the less chance you have. Up to 0% chance, and everything will be hit by the shield. So you definitely want to go up in the shields. For sure. We don't need a retrofit. That means we don't need to change our design right now. What we want to do now is, I want at least, want a defense fleet, copy. Get rid of all of this nonsense. Because we want only the glorious, glorious escort. It's the only thing that matters to us. We want 20 of them. And we want the Tetrarch, specifically. And this is also how you can have different strike forces. I always call them the pirate pounders. Actually, that is wrong, though, because they're not pounding them. They're actually disabling and boarding them. We'll call them the pirate slaughter. Because, you know, they're getting on board and they're literally ripping them apart, which is good. This time it's not a million insects, though. It's just humans. It's just the apes. We want, this is important, ship tactics instead of fleet? No, we want fleet tactics. 100%, and we want to set them correctly right now, because otherwise we can't change them, because they don't cascade through. Normally this, for me, should be an object, and everything should, everything built by this, or built with this object in mind, should inherit the object. You know, should inherit from the object, and that means this... It's programmer speak, no, I'm sorry. But this would actually be inherited to them, because this would be attached to this object. And that means this would be attached to every single ship as well. And that means if I change this, it would change the version of this in the ship as well. If made correctly. And that is what I would want. So it would cascade through. So every fleet I have of this would automatically update this. But that's unfortunately not how it works. You have to update every fleet on its own. So what we want on weaker targets, you should go freaking aggressive, buddy. And on stronger targets, yeah, be more neutral. Be more inclined to fleeing, that's fine. But if I tell you to attack, you should still do it. And you retreat not when non-defense components are damaged. That's actually very dangerous, because that could mean shields, thrusters, hyperdrive. Don't want that. Actually, shields are not non-defense. Shields are defense components, but... Thrusters or hyperdrive shouldn't be damaged, and then you want to flee, because then you're dead. You're already gone. You actually want not even non-defense. For these guys, the flimsy boys, shields below 20 or armor below 50. See, there is something I want in between there. How about shield 0? Shields... no shields and armor damage or something. Then I want to go. When attacked. Just... Oh no, they're shooting back. Let's move. Let's go. Let's go away. I mean, that's good for colony ships or something, maybe, or some other ships. Maybe fleet tenders like the fuel ships, the refueling ships. When they are getting attacked, they just leave, which would be fine. Otherwise, they stay with the fleet, not when enemies are nearby, because that would be way too early, because you want to maybe refuel on the spot and not just wait for them to come back all the time. Let's just say any non-defense. That's hopefully early enough. We'll lose many of them anyway. Fleet engagement range, sure. Enemy strength. This is just the defense fleet. How will they interact with things? Fleet retreat strategy, enemy strength 100% or greater. You're a defense fleet. You flee when they're double as strong, because you should fight tooth and nail as a defense fleet. You should fight until you die, because you're the last resort that we have as a defense fleet. That's why you are the defense fleet. Ships reassign positions within fleet as needed. That's fine, because we only have one kind of ship. And now we can just update this to, let's say, 50 next, and then we can just push the button, fill this fleet, and it will queue up all the ships we need to have 50. So this is inherited in some way, but not all the ways, which is kind of weird. Because I can actively change this, and it cascades through to the thing. Well, or what it does when I press the button is actually ask this template what the number is. Which is also a thing. That could be just a function of this template or something. But still, I'd like to cascade the information down. It's pretty expensive. We could just afford this. And we could actually maintain it as it stands right now. So I guess we get one of those fleets. It's only 20 though. It's not many. We could probably kill some pirates with that. Why are you still existing? Go retire. Go retire. Should all be retiring. Yeah, they're all retiring. Okay, good. But what I want now is... Where do I build those again? Oh, yeah. I can now say... Built. Any. I don't care where. Just build them. 20. That was all my money. That's risky, by the way. And that's why I was A, saving up money. B, not building any ships willy-nilly. Because when you really fight pirates, and you could be aggressive, you could have already been aggressive against them in a way, and just said, no, we don't pay you, and keep the money and actually invest them in our own ships, which can be successful, but you need to make sure you have a whole fleet ready, because if you don't have the numbers against them, they will just slaughter you and suppress you into nothingness. So you need to be really careful. I'd rather pay them for a while, maybe even make some of them my friends, and never have to pay them again, and just ignore them, unless I want to kill them because of their station and their resources or something, then just be too overly aggressive, and then just get suppressed until, you know, until the sun comes down, because that could actually destroy your curve, you know? You could actually be suppressed so hard that you're not a viable player anymore, which always happens to the Teekans. Our first military ship has been constructed. That was actually quite quick, I must say. These things are like produced like candy, huh? By the thousands. Oh, I love this hyperdrive. The hyperdrives do sound a little bit different sometimes. Oh, that's good. Good sound. Mission complete. We got improved logistics. At least some of that. What is improved logistics again? Man, I haven't played this in so long. I love this game so much. Also, because of this tech tree. The tech tree is quite vast. This is not all. I mean, this goes far. There are 8 tiers, including the 0. Tier 0, tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, something like that. 7 or 8 tiers. Although I think the 8th tier is either you have the tech already because you're your species X, or you find stuff in homeworlds of other species, in former homeworlds. I must say, improved logistics is for ground combat. Okay. I mean, we don't do ground combat yet. Psychic tech, you say? Oh, okay. Yeah, there are new tech things. Look at that. Biowarfare, genetic engineering, psychic tech. Oh, I'm so excited for this. I'm definitely going to play this tomorrow, guys. Ooh, interesting. The armor barracks now gives bombardment resistance. 90%? That's a lot of bombardment resistance. So maybe we want to kill these things now. And 70% ground attack resistance. So building those, and the same for robotics and genetic replication. That's kind of weird that it's the same. I would assume this is different. Like, I would like to see this to be actually more resistant against ground attack than bombardment, because you can basically just spam robots and halt everyone in their tracks. And this, I don't know, maybe half of both? like 50-50 on both or something because of cloning. I don't know. Something like that. But they all being the same? Maybe they don't stack. That could be. That you just get one of them. I have to put a small cut in here in a second. But I'm gonna go for shock forces because we want to be aggressive. And the best thing is with that is shock forces. Although I do like the cloning too. We don't need cloning yet though. We need it when we finally attack someone and they actually get experience. Better defense is nice, better attack is nice, but so far I think zero G combat could actually be good because better assault strength. I don't think it's the assault strength that I'm worried about right now though. Rather that my ships actually survive. And by that logic I should go for weapons and stuff. Why am I not going for torpedoes anymore? Oh, because we found those. And unless these numbers change, which I'm not gonna check right now, these are actually pretty good. It's 104 days. This is 134 days. That is a lot for just one, just a little bit. I think that's a lie, the 104 days. We must be making more research, right? Question is, do we have the funds for it? Yes, we do. Easily. We're making good bank, guys. Good decisions so far. Although that might change now, but... These guys are fine with us so far. We could attack them. We don't know how strong they are, huh? No. Because we don't know where they are. So that would be a risk. We could take that risk in hopes of... Oh, that was a free crash right there. Not necessary for 80 days, but sure. We could risk it for better technology, because that's what you want. You want to use the superior technology of pirates to basically out-research them. You know, you want to bump your own research, thereby giving you an advantage to anyone else. And also just out-research the pirates, because if you have equal tech, you're definitely better off, because their numbers are limited. They cannot rebuild. As far as I know. Maybe if they get enough resources, they may be able to, but I don't think they can. Okay, let's wait for these torpedoes to finish. That was actually pretty quick and pretty good. We could take a combined approach. We could take some... I already did that, and I did that successfully too. Use a combined approach of torpedoes and... I mean, I do have the money, but no. Of torpedoes and... I put a hotkey on those. Of torpedoes and ion weapons. So use the torpedoes to get the shields down quickly. And then the ion weapons to disable them. It does work. It can work. But I'd rather upgrade these ion field projectors, to be honest, and we can. It costs us 2.5 years, but that's worth it. But I do like that we have energy torpedoes. I don't like missiles. Missiles are basically garbage to me. Although, well, they're not that bad. We tried them. The problem is they're too big, I think it was. They just take too much space. They're not that bad because it works... it works like this. You have 4 shots per volley. I'm looking at the right one because fighters I don't care about right now. So we have 4 shots per volley, and every shot does 10 damage. Is I think what it does. They have some drop-off, some damage drop-off at max... No, they don't have drop-off at max range, which is pretty good. Do these guys have drop-off? Yes. The torpedoes, for some reason, have drop-off at max range, which makes no sense, because the warhead is still the same if they have fuel or not. But sure. Apparently the fuel is basically their 30% of their charge, which is weird. But missiles don't, so that is good. Accuracy is not the greatest, but it's for both of them. Countermeasures. Yeah, they're less prone to countermeasures, but by basically insignificant amounts. They're about as fast as torpedoes, which weird. They're way sleeker, but they probably have less fuel as well. because of that. Armor bypass 10%, really? And this is minus 10%. So armor actually reduces their damage, while torpedoes actually improve their damage against armor. Not against shields, but who cares? They're not made for shields. They're made to kill. So actually, this has positive armor bypass. If I read this correctly, and this is the only thing that makes sense to me, this would do less damage to shields by 40%, so almost half, but almost half extra against armor. So that's really good to crack ships open, which is what torpedoes were made for, you know? It does make sense. And missiles, not really. They're basically to strip armor, at least for battletech that would be the case. 32 seconds, that is the fire rate. So every 32 seconds we fire 4 shots per volley. And that's probably how the damage comes to a thing. Yeah, because it's already... I know the calculation, it's even in the encyclopedia. It's calculated with the accuracy in mind, so 88%. So that's how you go to the 1.1 per second, because you're shooting only every 32 seconds. You shoot 4 missiles, and that means, you know, it's basically 1 per 10 seconds. And that means you do 10 damage, and that means divided by 10, you do 1 damage per second. Almost. Because you shoot a little bit quicker than 1 per second, but the accuracy, you know, takes 1 missile away in a way. Again, the calculation is in the Galactopedia, sorry. How dare I? I'm not sure where it is. We definitely found it. I think combat somewhere. Space battles, and I think there is the calculation in here somewhere. I don't see it right now. So it's not really structured in what it should be, but yeah. It's not a formula, but it is in here. We definitely found it, and we tried to recalculate the damage and see that it's accurate and that our assumptions are correct, and I made a mistake because for some reason I thought that the 10 damage is divided up onto the 4 missiles that you shoot, but that is not correct. You actually shoot the 4 missiles and it comes down to 1 damage per second because the time and the accuracy is the time that you shoot at and the accuracy is calculated in, and which makes it much better because I thought, okay, you have 4 missiles that do 10 damage in total, which is also weird, but then you have what was it? Armor? You have reactive armor, is it, right? And that's basically StarCraft armor, if you know that one. There, reactive rating is basically damage reduction rating. So rating, that's the actual damage it can take. So 72 damage and it's done. It's dead. And the reactive rating actually reduces every incoming damage by that. You know? As far as I know. And if the missile only does 1 damage and reactive rating of 3 would just annul them completely, which doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense to me, but that seemed to make them even worse. They're still not great. If everything does 10 damage, it just does 7 damage. So actually the calculation changes because it also does less damage to armor. So it only does 9 damage to armor and then gets reduced by 3. I don't know what order it is in. It could be reduced first and then 10% down, which would make the calculation even more different because then it would only be 6.3 damage instead of 7 damage. But let's go with the 7 damage. And that would actually change then with the accuracy and the shooting per second would make missiles really, really, really weird and bad against armor. Which still is the case. So they don't do 1.1 against armor in DPS. They actually probably only do 0.6 or something. I would assume. I didn't do the math right now, but yeah. I need to put a small cut into the video. We are right back. Hello, we're back again. Bloop bloop. Should be only a second for you guys. So, Michaels Birkenkamp said in the YouTube chat, how long for point defense? And that's actually an interesting question. So basic point defense would be a year. Why am I not prioritizing that? A, we only have one slot for it anyway, which has only 270 degrees that we could use on our escorts. That would take ion potential / damage potential away. And also, it is quite ineffective is my problem with it. Yes, it has intercept seeking, which is good against missiles, and intercept fighter. They do use fighters, but it's actually a really bad point defense. I never use the cannon, to be honest. I always use the accurate point defense. It does have some shield bypass, which is quite nice. But, where is it? The accuracy is only 80%. And max range, which is 580, so basically nothing, is already 40%. And what I usually go for is the laser variant, which we can't see because I don't have early beam weapons, which I probably should get at some point. I don't care for area weapons, they can just exist somewhere else, not with me. Pulse weapons are way too overpowered and are, well, not these, but somewhere down here, they are way too overpowered in my opinion. Even though short-ranged. I wish they would fix the niches for these weapons, and I doubt they did that yet. Or they will ever do it, because for some reason they think this makes sense. And I still question that heavily. Should we go for extra civilian ships for small fuel tankers? We're getting in the ranges soon. Not yet, though. But bigger ships and colony ships. We might want colony ships. I think we should go there. Should have a basic understanding of colony ships. Again, does it make sense without even having an understanding of basic colonization? But it's fine. We'll just put that behind that and it's going to be fine. Maybe if we think about how we build the ships, we can actually think about how does colonization actually work. You know, for me, I would definitely accept if this technology, basic colonization and basic civilian ships, would have to be researched together and you had no other choice. The thing is, we don't even have, I think... oh, we can zoom. I knew we could zoom. See? Look how big this tree is. It's ridiculous. And I love it. But that would make some sense to me. Because for me, maybe they would have to rip this colony ship out of here then. Because for me, it would only make sense to think about colonization and the ship that should house the colonization pod... or pods, or whatever it is, this gigantic monster module of size 50, which is ridiculous, on a hull size 150, it would only make sense for me to think about both of those in tandem, you know, together, while they are being designed, because you need to figure out, okay, what do we need to actually colonize a planet? What do we need to colonize different kinds of planets? Because they don't know where they go to when the ship is built. Critical research failure. How great, thanks. One free crash and one critical research failure. You know what? That's fine. I'll make it unfailable. Because you can't fail if it's crashed. As far as I know. Has been dismissed due to... yeah, general. Generals are just the worst. But... you need to figure out how to be prepared for many different planets. Cold planets, hot planets, wet planets, deserts, you know. Hot or cold deserts, by the way. Doesn't matter. Desert is not defined by temperature, it's defined by precipitation. Ooh, but exposed. Okay, that's not good. Improved defense tactics is nice, though. Extra 10% defense. This spy is pretty good. Please don't get killed. He probably will, but... so, and while you're figuring this out, you need to also figure out, at the same time, actually, how will we actually house that thing? Maybe there could be an argument made for it doesn't matter if you know what you need, you know, if you just get colonization, then you know what ship kind you have to produce. In terms of sizes and capacities and capabilities to actually do this. But I don't know. That was probably the only thing that the game that I would be fine if the game enforces you to research it in tandem. It's too early though, because you don't even have consecutive research right now, do you? Do we have that? Oh yes, we do. We are set this limit to 3. No, we actually have 6. Okay, we could actually do this. Can set the upper limit of how many projects can be researched concurrently. Note that you must also have the corresponding number of research stations. That's because we only have 6 research stations or research. Well, more than we would have before, because these are actually counting. Oh, already done. Well, that was quick. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. Is there any information here? You can also use this value to reduce the maximum number of concurrent research. Sure. Fine, whatever, doesn't matter. Again, concurrent projects don't make sense to me. It would probably be more realistic, but the thing is, you know why this doesn't make sense? And when it would make more sense, and when I would really like to do it? When you wouldn't know what you're researching. And that is not a slippery slope, but that is a bold concept for a strategy game. Because there are games that do that don't tell you what you're researching, and you're just researching something and it happens. Which is more real. That's how real research works. You don't know what you're researching, you have an idea, a hypothesis that you want to prove, or, if it works differently than you're thinking, then you disprove the hypothesis, then it fails, and that is also knowledge, You don't have to... No, you won't do that. No. You don't have to prove a hypothesis for... to make good science. Actually, most of the time you can learn much more from failure than from success, but depends, of course. You were completed. Planetary exploration? Really? That is exploring sensors, right? That's the exploration module. Yeah, oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, put that in. And maybe we'll do that a little bit earlier than I thought we would, because that's pretty good. The survey module is pretty nice. I'd actually like improved sensors and exploration scanners as well. So, yeah, we probably will need that too, but it's fine. Let's just keep that going. Because then it would make sense to improve your chances of finding something useful. You might want to put points into multiple things at the same time, because you don't know how big the research might be as well. And then there should be some randomness in there, and that way that this would make sense. So you have multiple projects and you have some random factors, and you basically get more random ticks to that. And that would be the only thing that would make this useful. Let's say you have one running and you get one random tick every year or so. That you pump research into this. But if you pump the same amount of research into 4 projects, you actually get 4 random ticks per year to find something, to find a clue or whatever, however this is implemented, however this works, And then it would make sense, even if you put less research in all of them. But if there would be some progress markers or something that you discover this technology, and these markers can only be discovered by random events, and then whatever number of research you put in there, actually, yes, investigate this. Yes, it's a colony ship, I know, from whom. Oh, actually, Nexilians, that's pretty good. It's ice worlds, but better than nothing. I would like a deep ocean moon, weirdly. I'd like a species like the Shanda for volcanic worlds, because we have some that could be good. Nice, look at this beauty. Hover tanks for some reason. It's completely nonsensical, but sure. Because you can't ever with any technology you couldn't well, any technology I say, but any conceivable way of hovering, that we know of. You couldn't ever arm it as much as you could with tank treads. So tank treads are superior, unfortunately. Even though hover tanks are cooler, and I agree they are. Still doesn't make much sense. But battle techs don't make sense anyway, as well, and you know, that's still a thing, so. Well, not in real, but okay, troop maintenance, cool. We didn't even put a point in there, which is pretty good. Thank you, Mr. Spy. That's why spies are good. And actually, it seems like they have improved the... Or we were just lucky, because he has 13%. Damn. 13% espionage is the only thing that actually matters in here to me. Well, concealment maybe, but this is not how you think it is. It's not helping him to do his espionage missions. That's literally just the espionage. The concealment... Ooh, I want more of that root. And the beryllium quartz. Even though we're overproducing this, more colonies will change that. Actually, the concealment is only good for specific missions. And the missions are... Sure, let's do that. And I think it's deep cover. I think that needs concealment. Does it say? Somewhere it says... Sure, still some research, it's fine. Let's trial by fire you as well. The other one is actually pretty good though. There. And we can probably see that in espionage category or something. Oh, we have better weapons. That's pretty good. Don't know if we have to upgrade though. Intelligence missions. And it says in here somewhere... Espionage for steal operations, espionage for territory, espionage for research, espionage for galaxy maps, espionage, sabotage for sabotage colony, which makes sense, sabotage. Psyops for inside rebellion. Assassinate character needs assassination, makes sense. Concealment, deep cover. So it doesn't help you at all for stealing research. Which is kinda eh. And deep cover is just infiltrate an empire providing ongoing intelligence. Who cares? Just send more troops. Or in this case, fleets. It's fine, you have all the intelligence you need. Yeah, it doesn't make sense because information is key, but... It's really hard to do this by hand anyway. The invasions. Influence empire positively, negatively is all psyops. So more psyops is now important. Yeah, and they just tacked this onto the end of this. It's pretty good. Capture base is also sabotage. Oh, this is stupid. The target base must be known to your empire. It must also be either... It must also either be in your territory or in unclaimed territory. But what nonsense. Can't even be in their territory? That doesn't make any sense. That is nonsense. They can just trade for that and it's much cheaper probably. I wish I could show you that as well. Abandoned ship repaired. Cool. And acquired... We don't really want to retire you. Although you cost a lot. I don't like that you cost a lot. But if we retire them, they just murder these Nexilians for some reason. But I would really like to have them. I would really like to have them and make a colony out of them. Oh, we encountered Vortica. These are scary, actually. The Gravilex are more like a nuisance. These things are devastating. They're double the strength. And there is another species that I know of that are stronger. They look beautiful though, look at this. Actually quite a nice model. But yeah, these guys are kinda terrifying. And there's space, what are these animals called in English? I know the German name. Obviously, but... I do know the English name as well. I have it in the back of my mind, I just can't reach it right now. So they're basically aquatic animals in space. So. Oh god, and we're fighting them. Are we insane? What are you doing? Navigator, fuck off. I don't know what they wanted, damn it. And those will not be logged, unfortunately. It was an active decision. Hidden items. Oh, scenery from fire caverns, sure. Yes, we got more exploration, that's really good. An outpost. Annual support cost for humans. Interesting, it does say that. So we could have an outpost in our own fucking system. Are you insane, game? Is that how you colonize now? And now I gotten rid of the colonizer, which is stupid. 0% success against them. Ooh, I could actually use you to colonize them when I finally befriended them. Oh, I can now. Good. How about I send you a hefty gift? Real good money. Offer restricted trade. Can't get more than restricted trade. That sucks. I hope the money would be better there. No, I'm not gonna fight them. Not sure how strong my force is anyway. But we actually have contact with them. That is good. I should have done this before. Oh yes, because we had the ambassador there. And the ambassador is basically garbage at diplomacy, but good as counter-espionage for some reason. So this ambassador is basically shit. Why do you want an outpost here? I don't understand this, but I don't understand outposts yet, which might be the reason. I do see that. Independent colonies and their benefits. Oh yeah, look at that. More math. There's a lot of good math in here that they show, and I love that they do that. Many strategy games don't. Stingray. Yes. Stingray. Thanks. Tune in. Thanks, tune in. Thank you, and welcome, Blub Blub. How are you doing? It was a Stingray. It is a Stingray that is in space for some reason. It even looks like a Stingray in the face, you know? It even has the flaps that these things have. I don't even know how you call that on a Stingray. I'm a biologist and I don't know that. It's kind of sad. I actually was pretty good in marine biology, but I don't think I've ever looked it up. Maybe I should. Need to remember that. There's no thing for outposts, really? Yeah, the important thing is the planet suitability, and it's really nice that they show you what this means. Teekans have a plus 30 suitability boost for sandy desert planets. In addition, they have a minimum suitability level of 40 for sandy desert planets. The default value is 50. This means that for Teekans, a sandy desert planet with a quality of 30% would have a colonization suitability of plus 20. Using the formula above, this would be 30 minus 40, so 30 suitability boost, minus 40 minimum, plus 30 from something. I guess? That's kind of weird because you don't get them twice, right? It gives the 20 here because it's 10. Minus 10 plus 30 in the end. Is this the same 30? Oh, that's the quality. I think this is the quality. So suitability minus minimum suitability. That's minus 10. It should be minus 20, but they have better suitability here. Better minimum that they need. And then the actual quality of the planet is calculated in, and that gives the 20. And that's how we see with the humans. And we could actually, yeah, next series as well. We could actually, with this formula, which is very nice that they show that, we could actually calculate why this is a 23. I just would need to look up the humans and their bonuses and stuff. Or manta ray. I mean, is it really that much of a difference? It's just a fantasy space creature, but it is definitely inspired by rays in some way. Whatever rays. Manta ray, stingray, whatever it is. Might be a manta ray. You're correct there, I think. But again, it's just fantasy creature number 574. We get another spy. Oh yeah, good. We didn't lose one. That's pretty nice. And you're absolute garbage. Okay, cool. Man, you're garbage. You're probably gonna be dead in a second. Okay. How about... we need someone at counter-espionage, but you should be... You know what? You do counter-espionage. Just don't. Just don't do this. It's useless. You suck. Go counter-espionaging because you're a moron. And you try your luck with here and... I don't know, steal some... And I could do this manually all the time and just find the best thing. I love that they put this in here, that you can actually see this. Go space commerce, because that's what we need for sure. 90% chance, good. They have the cephalic fins in front of the mouth. Yeah, so that's... I know that's why you said manta ray, so it's probably that one. I just don't have the names. I don't know them by heart. Oh no, this is a different one. This is not my system. This is actually outside. What are you though? Huh? Huh? It shows me this planet when I click on it, but when I don't click on it and just hover over it, it shows this one. Actually, it's probably... I don't know which one they want. I should read it, actually. Hunuga Prime. This one. They actually want the outpost... Probably... On this one is a gas giant. What the hell? Okay, this is not functioning correctly. I think they are saying the wrong one. No. Huh? Send Hunuga Prime Adversity. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, that is the ship. That is this ship. Okay. And that ship shall be sent to this planet to make an outpost, which would be completely stupid. And also, it tells me the wrong number. Because it's not for a human. I mean, it's the same number, because the Naxilians have the same suitability here, as we can see. But it still tells me the wrong information here. That should say Naxilian. It's interesting. I'm interested in what is wrong here. Is the number wrong, or is just the species wrong? I would assume it's the species, because this doesn't update. This just points to find player species or something. And this is just the calculation for Naxilian thing. It would be really bad if this is the calculation for player species. That would be bad, but otherwise, I understand why that happens. They just pointed at the wrong thing. I don't want to. Although that is... I mean, it's a year's income. Sure. I want to make them a little bit more happy. We could actually fight them, but so far I don't see a point. We have some defense if we need it, with 1800 boarding assault strength. I love that it is in here. And 776 strength. We could fight the Gravelex, but that would definitely incur losses. Yes, we want tankers, thank you. We really need tankers. Soon. Not quite now, but it's good to have some on queue. And if the AI says you should have some, yeah, you're right. I should. Just in case. Because tankers can also help, exploration ships can also help, builders that just run out of fuel on the way. Hello, David. Outpost has its own... Oh god, the last name. Outpost has its own sections under nebula clouds. Okay, under nebula clouds? What the hell? Thank you for that information. Under nebula clouds, I would have never guessed that it's here. I mean, there are some gravity... Oh, galactic storms are new. Huh. Mitigated by reactive armor, the 7 damage. Okay. So our armor would halve it. About. Gravitic storms. Nebula map overlay. Sure. It's just a nebula effect. It's not there. No, under the right pane. It's under outposts. Oh, I see. Sorry, I didn't see that. I just saw nebula. Thank you. Outposts are small enclosed surface settlements that can be established at planets and moons. They are ideal for settling planets that would otherwise be inhospitable. Ah, I know why they want that. Okay. To colonization. They are particularly useful to acquire important ruins, and that's why they want to be there. But how does that help? Because the ruin just helps the planet. Yes, it has some technology bony there. Small ones. Not worth it. With empire bonuses or valuable resources. Oh, so the empire bonus doesn't apply already. Because I'm technically not occupying the planet. And that empire bonus still needs the occupation in some way. So we have seen this because... There. We have the assassination bonus. So we don't get this? Let's check that. Let's just make sure that is the case. Not here, bonuses. Should be Bonai, but sure. Assassination is not in the list. Should be with A, probably. That spot there. So, yes, it's correct. It doesn't... it doesn't work. Okay. While outposts are similar to colonies in some ways, they also have a number of important differences. Yeah, they still cost me money and way too much. The key difference is that outposts do not grow beyond their initial settlement population. Outposts also do not... This is still 50 million people? That's more than an outpost, guys. That's a mega city. That's a hive. Outposts also do not pay tax, so they have no income. Well, great. They can be established at any planet or moon with a solid surface where the suitability is -50 or better. Support cost. Outposts have a support cost that correlates to the suitability of the planet's population. Okay. Lower suitability increases support costs, whereas better suitability lessens support costs. I mean, makes sense. Thus, outposts are always a net drain on your economy. They never earn money, but always have support costs, which is kind of bad. So you should carefully consider whether you really want to establish an outpost at a location. There should be some clear benefit to the outpost that outweighs the support cost. Can you turn an outpost into... They claim territory is interesting, but can you turn them into... Which I don't need because it's my main system. Can you turn them into a colony later? Because this is a planet I will definitely colonize later with Shanda, preferably, or Boscara. So... Or maybe even Gizzurians, I think, are also volcanic. I'm not sure right now. There's another one that is volcanic. And can live there. But Shanda would be my preferred choice, and I can show you why in a second. Outposts... Wait, how... Did I... Yeah, control, blah, blah, outweighs support costs. Outposts also claim their entire system as territory for your empire. However, because outposts do not grow, the territory will never project beyond their system. So that's kind of nonsense then. Why would I care then? One system? Why would I take that? I can just take it by force? By presence? Outposts also have some restrictions. They cannot build new ships or bases. They cannot build most planetary facilities. They cannot recruit troops. There's also a limit on the total number of outposts. You can only have one outpost for each colony. Ah, good to know. Because so far I've not found that anywhere. I would like to see that in here, to be honest. Like, colonies 1, population, blah. And then under that, potential outposts number. And then actual outposts, you know? Or maybe outpost and then 0 out of 1 or something like that. That would be pretty nice. But thank you, David, for that hint there. That's pretty cool. Good to know. Establish an outpost requires sending a colony ship to the target planet, which is then lost. But instead of performing a colonization mission, the ship performs an established outpost mission in new colonies. List can... Is it actually lost after that? But yes, it has to be, because the population on the ship will still live there. So, which is millions. God. That's not an outpost, guys, if there are millions on there. The new colonies list can also be used to queue up new outposts, just the same as you do for colonization. Haven't used that yet? Huh. Ah, that's the outpost support cost. Interesting that this... because it's still under 20, that's why it costs, I guess. It still costs so much, but it costs much less with the actual population that you could have here, which is good. No buildable colony ship designs. Yeah, that is actually not correct, but sure. Because this ship could also be sent here. That is a... that's a mistake probably in a check or something. Because they don't need to look for buildable designs if, you know... They just need to apply the same way as here. Because any colony ship can make an outpost. That means that should be enough. Have colony ship, yes, then they don't have to look for buildable colony ships. As they do here. It already works here. They just need to copy that over and it's fine. In addition, you can also use the queue outpost blah 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 action. Okay, selection panel for any inhabited. Okay, also, I could do it. Yeah, I could do it this way. Okay. When I finally have colony ship designs, which still we're working on. Actually, do we have the... Oh yes, we have the civilian designs already. That means we should gain a bit more money. Because every civilian will sell their mother now for extra stuff. For extra ships, ship components, extra ships, all the things. Could actually expand this. I have money. I do have money. What can you do with money? Money, you can make more. Should I have 2 of these fleets? Maybe would keep me more flexible? Cost the same, so it doesn't matter. I could make this bigger, or I could have 2. It's a little bit more micro for the beginning, but would actually leave me a bit more with a bit more flexibility. At the moment, I just want them to kill the Gravilex, though, so which they don't have the weapons for technically. I could change the design since we're not threatened with pirates, and the pirates actually don't even eat much in our cash flow. It's just 1.5k per year, which is nothing right now. There are no other pirates, so I could redesign them, refit them into torpedo iron boats, and then the Gravilex would have no chance. They would just be ripped apart. I'm gonna put them at 30 though, for now. And then, as I said, press 1 button, boop, full. Love that. So good. Still not as good as the Stellaris one, in my opinion. But that took a lot of time in the oven to actually be good. Fusion ignition. And basic commerce. Fusion ignition should be somewhere here. Oh, Quameno special. I don't know about the new about the Quameno and the Jizorean special text, so this is new to me. A Nova Core reactor. Fancy schmancy. 18 size. Much smaller. That is ridiculous. Much smaller and double the output. You're gonna be kidding, right? Also fueled with Caslon. Unfortunately, there are no different fuels anymore, which there were in Distant Worlds universe, and I wish they would go back to that, because that was kind of interesting. Because you might want to switch to a different reactor, engines, and hyperdrive, just because you have different fuel in your region. And then they could make Caslon a little bit more scarce as well, and just, you know, make it a little bit more strategical. Would that add to the gameplay, though? Probably not, and that's probably why they don't do it. But it's interesting. I mean, it was an interesting thing to think about there. Did they fix the fighter storage thing? That it was actually better to have 2 reactors to store more capacity because the fighter capacity was garbage? I showed that to one of the devs, and they were kind of surprised that that is actually a thing. But they haven't fixed it yet so far, as far as I know. We have to check that. We cannot research this. So the only way we can get this is to find more research for this until it's full. And then we would have these. I mean, at the moment that would be great, but they would be obsolete soon, I think. Like two more tech levels and they would be completely obsolete. Okay, we almost have basic colonization. I want sensors. And I want exploration scanners next. That being done would be fine. Penetrating scanners would be great. Just improve our damage output and our targeting. What's damage 2? Yes, weapons damage increase. It's very cheap. Better escorts could be a thing. And frigates are imperative. Soon. Better mining stations? I mean, sure. Let's just queue that up for now. The rest doesn't interest me much. A better hyperdrive would at that point. I don't care for forces at the moment. We don't have any enemies to fight. The only thing we have is someone to actually just take over. I do like the Iron Pulse Blast. I don't know why. Look at the Intercept Fighter and Intercept Seeking though. That's really fun. That's a lot of damage. Compare this. This is 16 and 16 on how far? 590 range. This is, let's go with the S variant. No, that's the wrong one. There. PD variant and 580 range, and you only do 8 and 5. Even the crappy iron point defense is much better than the actual basic point defense. Much better. What's the accuracy? Is that also 80%? 88 even. It's even more accurate. It's even more accurate at max range and everything. And it has more range. 25 per 1,000, so it doesn't even go down by 12% or something. On max range in terms of damage. So it's just still 15 damage. Where is it? There. This is 12% per 1,000, so... much less fall off, but it doesn't do any damage to begin with, so who cares? Every 7 seconds, every 7 seconds, so... Yeah, this is much superior to this garbage. I wasn't ever for kinetic weapons in this game. Well, apart from torpedoes, maybe. Missiles. Still a missile weapon. But ion weapons... I even like the beams, even though they're actually not great. This as a point defense is much better because it has range. It has... it's perfect accuracy, right? 96%. Almost perfect. It has much less fall off at max. Max accuracy is pretty good still. It's almost as good as the normal accuracy from the others. It shoots every 8 seconds, so 1 second less. Okay. One more second needed until it can refire. The speed is basically infinite. It has 5,000 per second, so it is infinite. What else? It does 12 instead of 16, but, you know, 12 is pretty good. And it can shoot, I think, 360? Or is that just... No, that's still a turret. I think it's still turreted. But it has double the range. The damage fall-off, though, is much higher. So, but it's 20% on 12. That's... What is that? Points? Not 0.6. 20%. It's about 2 points, so it still does 10 damage. So I think it's still fine. This does more damage, though, which is interesting. Again, if I interpret this correctly, because I think that the normal damage of 4 is not what's going to be applied in intercept mode. Intercept mode is intercept fighter or intercept seeking, right? Because it says 36 per second. That is actually the damage that it can do, which is ridiculous. And this does how much? 24 per second. So actually, maybe I want to combine these two. So if they're further away, this thing will hit them, which is good for missiles, and fighters and stuff would actually get disabled by this thing and just ripped apart. And it's 0.1 volley fire rate. So every 7 seconds, you fire 4 shots with 0.1 apart. So in 0.4 seconds you fire those. And it's 4 shots. This thing, 4 shots with 16 damage. While this thing shoots... Okay, it's also 4, okay. And the same. Just a little bit longer fire rate. Yeah, maybe I want to combine them in the future. That's actually pretty cool. I wasn't aware that iron point defense was actually so good. I actually used them as a joke before. Because I liked iron weapons. Because they were so overpowered for killing pirates. I'm kind of disappointed I don't have to do this here. We have Yandokari now as a leader. And also more happiness. Because of it. For a short time. Our new Empire leader Yandokari is boosting happiness plus 9. Pretty nice. What's the leader doing? Yeah, military ship maintenance. That's good for me. There's a lot of money in the bank. Colony happiness sucks. Weapon research, sure. I mean, I guess. He's fine. He's an okay guy. Ion PD it is then? Yeah, it kind of seems like that, right, Michael? Colonization. With the development of basic colonization, we have acquired the technology necessary to colonize new worlds. We should identify hospitable planets that are good candidates for new colonies. Then begin building colossal colony ships to send out to these new worlds. At this point, we have truly become a spacefaring civilization. As we move out into the galaxy, we will continue to grow and gain the upper hand over pirates and mercenaries. Now has come the age of expansion, where we must compete against other empires for dominance in the galaxy. And with that, thank you for watching. Leave me a like. Don't forget to sub the YouTube and come to Twitch, and I see you all in the next one. Blub blub everyone.